חג פורים, חג גדול ליהודים, מסכות רעשנים, שיר וריקודים. אבל הרישה רש רש רש, אבל הרישה רש רש רש, אבל הרישה רש רש רש, ברעשנים, ברעשנים.
Shalom and Chag Sameach. This week we celebrate the festival of Purim. We're going to be gathering in our synagogues all over the world, and we are going to be reading from Megillat Esther, the Scroll of Esther. And in the Scroll of Esther, we will read, and some will chant, Vayihi b'mei Achashverosh hu Achashverosh hamolech mihodu ad kush sheva ve'isrim u'mea medina bayamim hahem kashevet hamelech Achashverosh al kisei malchuto asher b'shushan habira. During the days of Achashverosh, he was Achashverosh, the king who ruled all the way from India to Ethiopia, 120 countries. In those days, during the reign of King Achashverosh upon his throne that was in the city of Shushan, his capital city. Now we're going to be reading this incredible story of Esther, and we are going to read of a time in Jewish history during which an evil person arose by the name of Haman. And Haman intended to destroy all of the Jewish people because they would not bow down to him. They would only bow down to their God. And we're going to read of a beautiful young woman by the name of Esther. And she and her uncle Mordecai will save the Jewish people. How will they do this? Well, King Ahasuerus was dissatisfied with his queen Vashti, and he has this beauty contest, and Esther enters it, and of course the king falls in love with her, and they get married, and he adores her, and he does not know that she is Jewish. And when Haman proposes to do away with the Jews because he sees them as some kind of threat to him, Esther reveals her Jewish identity to the king. And we read that Haman, along with his 10 sons, are hanged on the gallows. And this all happened, maybe 300 years before the Common Era, maybe 300 BCE, in Persia, which would be the country of Iran today, and it happened on the 14th day of the Hebrew month of Adar. Now, to this day, Jews in cities that do not have walls around them celebrate Purim on the 14th of Adar. Cities such as Jerusalem, which have a wall surrounding them, celebrate Purim on the 15th day of Purim, and we call that Shushan Purim. Now, what happens during a Jewish leap year when we add an additional month, we add an additional Adar to the calendar? Well, we celebrate Purim on the second, or during the second month of Adar, and there's all sorts of customs surrounding this incredibly joyous holiday. Now, what's going to happen in our synagogue, and it happens, I think, in just about every synagogue, that every time the name of Haman, this very evil man who would have destroyed us all, when his name is mentioned, we make a lot of noise. We blot out his name, and we will be handing out noisemakers like this. And the children will yell and scream and blot out his name. Now, we also, and this is kind of fun, we also eat Hamantaschen, these three-cornered pastries in remembrance. We call this Hamantaschen, which means Haman's ears. Now, why does Purim have the name of Purim? What does Purim mean? Purim literally means lots. Haman, according to the story, throws lots. He casts lots to choose the day upon which the Jews will die. And of course, his plot is thwarted. Now, interestingly, God's name is never mentioned even once during in the book of Purim. It seems to be a redemption that was initiated by human beings. Now, of course, we Jews who believe in God and believe in God's redemption believe that God was working behind the scenes. But I think the reason God's name isn't mentioned is that we human beings always have to take into our own hands the initiative to redeem this world. Now, the idea that Haman threw lots, casted lots, holds with it a certain idea that luck is involved, that there are many things that are out of our hands, and certainly we cannot choose our enemies. We cannot choose when and where and whom to resist. We cannot choose who will arise against us. To some extent, that is out of our hands. But what isn't out of our hands is our ability to be strong, to be prepared, and to be ready to defend ourselves. Even in our day and age, there are enemies of the Jewish people. We see a rising tide of anti-Semitism in Europe these days. We see madmen in places like Iran that are calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. And there are people who blow up synagogues and attack our people in various places in the world. We must be strong. Purim teaches us that it's not a matter of luck. It's not a matter of us waiting for God to initiate our redemption. We, from time to time, have to take our own fate into our own hands and be strong. And we should rejoice on this Purim, and we should take the lessons of Purim to heart. Well, I hope that you will enjoy your celebration of Purim. Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom.